Ladies and gentlemen.
Tap it.
He's got to shout, Robin.
Oh, well, I'll show you if you can hear me.
Aye, that'll come a bit nearer.
That'll make a difference.
Isn't it that?
So have you got us a stripper or what? I prefer a black one.
Stand up.
Douglas. The black one.
Right,
Oh, stand up!
ladies and gentlemen, we're gathered here tonight for Walter Little's 60th birthday. Walter George Little, you were born this day, the 2nd of December 1945, a significant masterpiece at the end of the Second World War. You were born at number 9 The House, in the very room that you still sleep in to this day. Your sister Margaret remembers it well, as she cried at the first sight of you. I wonder why. Indeed, Margaret's cries turned out to be justified, as you apparently terrorised her in the later years by putting her pigtails through a mangle. Do you remember that?
No.
Anyway, that's a bit cute though.
Look at this. I'm like a white biafra, isn't it? I think it's took a blind tit.
Other terrorist activities included locking an auntie in a hen house and the highly dangerous sport of snail racing.
Let's get it, Melfield.
You noticed?
Aye. I know, all the girls wanted danger. I can manage that.
Right. Most of your younger years were spent at the house. Holidays were spent at Smithy Row, Capital Bridge. Your school years. Your school years were spent at Cummertrees Primary and then on to Annan Academy, where you learned many skills. The most significant of these being it was actually gardening. You did in fact excel at this subject so much that you have a certificate to prove it.
Well, it is, we've got a good garden at home then.
I like trimming you a front.
After leaving school, did you put these skills? Did you practice these skills and set aside?
What, trimming my front?
Did you get a grant for all of that? After that, you settled down to hard work at the house at the age of 15, honing your animal husbandry, agricultural engineering skills, and environmental studies, which we commonly know as being a farmer. I'll come with you for a bit. Is that you? Yeah. In 1960, your father, Walter, bought you a brand new Massey Ferguson 35X.
No, 35.
Well, 35, right?
That's right. £600 it was.
Was it? dear.
3813 SM.
Where you got sat on the seat and you have skived the rest of your career.
David McLaughlin said the glue set. There all says the glue set.
The tractor would have been your pride and joy in the latter days of your teenage years, but adolescence and hormones probably took over when you became age to socialise and nights in became a thing of the past. Weeknights were spent at the local bowling clubs and local pubs.
Who's that then, Walla?
Oh, birthday.
Wait,
James Robert Crombie.
oh,
Aye, birthday. So the hell
You've got eyes for him, I think.
Straight.
On occasions, it was known for you to play football, generally as the goalie.
That's right. Played for us an academy.
so it's Queenie the suit they're needing now.
Weekends were for going to the local village halls for dancing and drinking. Odd trips to Blackpool was also on the agenda, where God knows what you and your pals got up to. Any stories to tell about that?
We talked about it yesterday. We talked about it yesterday. We did all that.
Stand up, Dave.
Stand up! Shy today.
In 1968, you met Esther, who is now your long-suffering wife, and love was in the air. Tom, the beret-wearing father of Esther, was grateful to you for taking the biggest worry off his hands when you asked Esther to marry you. Tom was also amazed at the wonderful roses he could grow outside his house since you met Esther. This was apparently due to a secret formula which only you could provide. Nothing to do with the byproducts of your animals, but entirely down to the fact that you peed on them every night you visited Esther. Just not say much for that.
That's Sheena for Australia. Esther, you see? She always said it's a good cook, you see, Jim. Aye. Look at Drew Watson and eat your heart out. They're supposed to, aye. I told you I was lucky, aye.
1665 SM.
Hey, I was good looking then and now, wasn't
Stand up there, Walla.
Just stretch the picture a bit. Stretch the picture, Esther.
You and Esther finally tied the knot on the 4th of October.
Stand up! Stand up! That's Eric Murray for Dutton, Eric.
Is it?
David Graham.
David Graham, Brian Douglas, and me and Dave. Young offenders.
You and Esther finally tied the knot on the 4th of October 1972, and you whisked her away in your Ford Anglia on honeymoon to Warwick. When Walter and Esther were first married, on the first visit home, Tom asked Esther how was married life. Fine, she replied, apart from the bedroom department. Walter really has no idea. Tom said, leave it with me and I'll have a word with Walter. Eventually Tom spoke to Walter saying, about the problem. Walter agreed. Tom said, go round to the hay shed. There are 2 dogs busy at it. Watch them and learn something. So time goes by. Time goes by and Tom asked Esther, how is it going now? Esther replies, don't mention it. The other night I was taking off my trousers and pants. Walter came rushing into the bedroom, sniffed at my arse, peed on the bedpost, and then scratched his arse along the floor.
That would be chugged out. They chugged out.
Your first home being in Kirkland Brig at Murraythwaite, where some strange goings on occurred. Neighbours, which were Linda and I at one time, neighbours were not safe around this area at that time. George MacDonald, i.e. Geordie, was targeted many times by your pranks. The most significant probably being the IRA incident.
That was tough to witness, didn't it?
Will you explain that to us, Walter, please?
We'd been at the bowling at Corrie and we had a tremendous concession, like. So on the way back, there was Scruggs Brig who pinched Rodman's lights. We went here in a forestry van, so put a cement block back every wheel and hung the Rodman's light on his run pipe at the back door. So when he got up in the morning, this light was going round. They shut the IRA at me. Geordie here now?
Oh.
2 years later, it was announced that your first son, Alan, had arrived in the world. And to quote you, there was no point in opening a quarry for 1 load of stains. So Martin was soon to follow. Talking about stones, it's mixing cement.
I still got the nose big.
Martin, ask your neighbour to get us a drink. Christ.
First 2 up.
Look at the bridesmaid, eh?
Janice, is that memories? Dalton Church.
She was as pure as the driven snowdrew. The first night we went to bed with the torch. I'll tell Rob McDermott this story. We stopped in the cottage the first night, so we didn't want the neighbours to come in, so we went to bed and we never put the lights on, we just went to bed with the torch.
That's so as you can see what he was doing.
You look alright. Dougie, take note.
With 4 littles now, as the photograph shows you, you moved on to number 9 the house, making it your homestead where you still live today. You have worked hard getting the house to the way you want it, demolition and building being your strong points, especially demolition. Put Walter on a tractor with a loader and boy, look out. Many buildings.
Hear what that is, Walla? Jackie and Mary, she made you and Ginger. You beat him at that.
Put a knickers in the...
Ginger, you beat him.
I'll just go back and start a wee bit further back. Especially demolition. Put Walter on a tractor with a loader and boy look out. Many buildings have holes in them at the house due to the forks on the loader. But that is nothing. Cars have been written off with your outstanding skills with the loader. Fires are another of your great conquests. Hay shed fire, combine fire, tractor fire, round baler. The methods of putting them out are unusual, to say the least. You certainly never had any training to be a firefighter. Your methods comprise of, if you can't put it out with your hat, then you simply pee on it. Some training needed there possibly. He always had a fire extinguisher in his hand.
Cheers.
Setting up a roadblock on the B723 with a combine is another of your skills.
Jimmy McLaughlin was there that day.
Totally blocking Hodham Bridge on your way to Ecclefechan, only to find that the vehicle directly behind you was your bank manager.
He says at least to see you try it.
Well, we have brought him here tonight, but not exactly. When we contacted him, he sounded rather disturbed by the thoughts of being that close to you again. Changing combine gearboxes can be as hazardous as you know. Walter having once got stuck while trying to do so.
Aye, we put a gearbox. Davey was there, wasn't he? When you got the gearbox in, and I was still in it. And I couldn't get out. We talked about that with Jimmy Wilson yesterday, Dave. Aye.
Does anybody recognise that scene? Emma Beale and the open
You may
face
know
and fan.
all them. That was.
Kennels Walker.
There's Cathy Maloney
There's
Brothers.
Melinda's
That was 13 years ago. Hopefully, might be 50. Yeah, I can pull a chicken out, boys.
She looks absolutely petrified there. Shaking like a kitten dog. Looking good there, Walter. Let me tell you the mic was
Look at it.
Hey, Watson!
I'm listening.
There's no trainers in that, you need them.
You and Esther have spent many years bringing up your two sons through thick and thin. Don't quite know which the thin one is.
That's a Dave Wardrobes.
Charlie
Charlie Chaplin's eye.
Couldn't recognise the Captain Walton.
That's a Dave.
You remember that night, Dave?
We can take our own bottle, David, need drink in the house.
Once Derek Hamilton and the boys.
Well, that's in Australia. No. That was in Australia.
Well, when Alan and Martin left the school, you and Esther developed wings and you flew off to Australia, so that's where you are now. It was your first flight and a memorable one too. You became members of the Mile High Club. You want to tell us how you managed to become members? Really?
Well.
No, we'll keep that a secret.
Aye. Many of these holidays have been spent with your good friends, Robin and Linda, and who've sent you this message tonight.
Linda.
She's a
There's Rob seen this bit there.
Just got to try and
That's
do
when
it.
you're ready.
Yeah. Sorry.
Just her on.
Improve your performance.
I'm off on Sunday time.
We've been holidays together from Blackpool, Caravan, and Tenton, and Mallorca. Once in Comrie, we got flooded out and we couldn't use the tent. So Linda and I had to sleep in the back of Walter Nestor's maxi car. And Walter always said the car was never the same again.
There's footprints in the roof. Oh, aye.
Walter also came out of his caravan in the dark to turn off the gas, or pretend to turn off the gas. He was more interested in what was going on in the maxi, and he fell over the top of the caravan drawbar and landed in the ground. we have ventured further afield. 3 years ago in Menorca, Walter and I thought we could diversify, and we bought a yacht, but we couldn't decide who was to be the captain, as there was only enough room for one. So this is the photograph, so this is HMS Little. But I hope we have more holidays to come.
Aye, yes, aye. We'll not mention the wife swap.
Make it the best of your
So we're going to come back to the beginning of that.
You want a minute or two?
Just to show you the whole show. The launching.
Yeah, he actually wondered how he was going to get into that boat. He went down the steps, and when they went forward, and she says, "I'll show you," and she just knocked his hands off the rail, and he fell completely straight in. I saved his life that day, didn't I?
Look at that,
So you couldn't see it, mid sea.
Tell me a lot of lies today. Send Gordon's man out.
Go on, it's pretty, Walter.
Lawrence Tweedy. You done with that job, didn't you?
No, no.
Nah. That's
in your pack.
That's it.
I wait to Dave Douglas, what
Oh, I saw that.
that is Dave Douglas is here.
But that
I can make that to me. Deal with fun, mate.
Right, well.
We were dancing with smooth mover, John. Smooth mover, aye.
Quiet, please.
Anybody with a squeamish nature, please leave the room at this point. As we move on to the subject of Walter's bowls. This is a speciality subject for you, Walter, and one which you particularly like talking about. It is not unknown for you to be at a party, for example, New Year at Dalton, and suddenly get a pain. Get into your car and drive 12 miles home to sit in the loo and bring in the bells. It is also not unknown for you to have made a mess in your pants at Echo Feckers. and bring them home for Esther to wash.
Off. See your tricks. That was points.
Ice cream and rhubarb are often the culprits
John Murphy.
for
Full
setting
opinion, John.
for setting all such things as according to your wisdom. Sex education, another of your speciality subjects. You have through the years given freely your advice on this matter to all comers, and even to those who have difficulty doing so.
That's at Singapore. Airport, if you're listening.
Family planning advice is also one of your favourite subjects. Bondage is one subject that you have witnessed participating in.
That's why it's so exhausting.
At your father-in-law's retirement party, but it has been said you haven't quite got the hang of it. Being tied to a chair, which is tied to a Land Rover, is not what it's about, especially when you keep falling off the chair. Apparently this was all brought on by a certain Mrs. Holt's fine hospitality and a bottle of black rum.
Johnny in the village.
It's 50th, right?
Just said about that in a minute.
I've got the jokes on it, Robert. Ah, yes.
I can see my burgers in here today. Aye. I need something for the weekend. Another night bag.
And finally, as I say, as it is general knowledge, you have a liking for lap dancers, pole dancers and the like. Some of your friends have got together and spent an absolute fortune just to bring you your very own lap dancer for tonight. And here she is. Happy birthday, Walter.
Good.